welcome to another edition of The Uncommon Servant. As always, I am your host, Janet Bubai-Renner. Our guest today is an astute environmentalist committed and emotional about the environment and human rights. Elder Alagoa Morris is a name that resonates with passion for the development of his native land, Bayelsa State, and its environs. He is an ardent propagator of the rich culture of his ancestral heritage, hence his deep involvement in promoting his own culture. Elder Morris is a man who believes in hard work with many feathers in his cap aimed meritoriously. He is currently the executive director of the Environmental Defenders Network. Let's meet our guest.
My name is Alagoa Morris, but I start off in life with the name Goke Adaka. Adaka is my grandfather's name. Goke is the great grandfather's name. So I was given my great grandfather's name, Goke. I started with it in primary school before the war at Abobri Primary School, and then continued till I went back to Port Harcourt after the war. It was when I got to secondary school, I changed. Why did I change? Goke itself, even elders from my community in Ondewari, Southern Indo, we are calling the name in a way that I don't like. Abangai Goke. That plantain bunch, if you are carrying a plantain bunch, that the stick you hold, that's what they just use. It's Abangai Goke. The plantain, so. I don't like it. Agaka itself, that was my grandfather's name. My Calabari classmates in primary school at St. Andrews, they would say Agaka is Kro. I don't like that type of thing. And I come to realize that my biological father was named Amadi Morris Adaka. So I picked the Morris. And then my mother's side, they named me Alagoa. So I picked the Alagoa. I knew that the Alagoa was a very prominent, beautiful name. So I now picked the Alagoa and the Morris. So from class 1, when I started in government secondary school, Brass in 1976, I started bearing the name Alagoa Morris. Most people feel that I'm from the Alagoas family. But I am not. I don't have their blood, not even a single drop in my veins. Like I said, my father from Ondewari, his mother is from Ukubie. Even my mom, who is from Brass and related to the Bulumabri area of Nimbi, her father is an Olubobri man. So I claim, first of all, Southern Indo local government area. Yeah, hobby, as you can see, even as we are talking now, you may observe that I've lost a lot of my teeth. I love boxing, and I did it. Even though I was warned from the beginning that, look, that thing is dangerous, so it may give you some. But many boxers that I knew from way back, they didn't get this type of problem. However, this is self-inflicted injury, because when I lived far from the gym and I was practicing alone, I felt, let me give myself some punches at close range so that when I go to the gym and I want to spar with my partners, I won't be scared of their punches. So those punches I was giving myself, even though I was wearing tooth guards, they were actual punches that I was, even though I had bandages, I was giving myself actual punches. So as I started growing older, the teeth started wobbling. It started wobbling. So it's even a lesson for me, for the younger generation. Don't allow any person to just hit you anyhow, or you hitting yourself, because age might tell a different story. So boxing, swimming, watching animal documentaries, nature, and then writing. These are my hobbies. I used to imagine sometimes, even as a father now, how he managed to keep us going. 3 times, now we are talking about if you eat 2 times a day this time, if you are sure of your 2 times meal a day now, you are well to do. But in those days, we always talk about morning, afternoon, evening. Yes, that was those days when my father was able to keep us. The same thing with my mother. My mother was very industrious. In fact, when we were small, we didn't know, but she told us that when she first married our father, being just an housewife, she wasn't comfortable with it. She wanted to do business. He was opposing to it. She has to go and call his neighbors to come and beg him to allow her to do something. So eventually he agreed. And I saw my mother baking bread, frying make me, in those days, make me well, these buns. And we go and sell. From the agri quarters, we go to Abobri to go and sell. Sometimes we cross over to Oloibri. There used to be a market across Abobri at the Court Beach. There used to be a weekly market there. Sometimes we cross. But when we come back, sometimes we have made mistake. You give change over. So it doesn't balance. I remember. So my mother had a very industrious person from the word go. All these petty jobs. I go with her to share locations, painting their machines and their pipelines and all of that within the flow stations with their different colors. Even at their industrial area at Rumumasi. Sometimes I go with her. She was a supplier of fruit to Hotel Presidential. Sometimes she asked me to go and take the order for the next supply. And I will go either with a bicycle or whatever. I will go and come back. So she did all of that, but finally she settled as a caterer. Yeah, I was just telling somebody at Otabadi not long ago, and I see it was at Abobri at my very infant years that I first saw the Ogbea people, going to the Tereke market. Because my father was a staff of the agri station there, the marine division. And so we are just the agriculture was just by the river. So when they are passing the market day, we observe them loaded with farm produce, fufu, cocoyam, plantain, you name them. So right from then, even though I'm not from Ogbe, I know the name of a plantain and cocoyam. Kida is cocoyam. Opoint is plantain. So I was cracking joke with them 2 days ago at Ottawa. You see, so those early years were very, very foundational because I also saw people like Rex Lawson coming there to do some, ninth time, singing activities when the oil companies were just coming, drilling their oil within that Oloibri axis. I never knew what they were doing there, but I saw the ships, the vessels coming there between the Abobri and Ogbea, where Ogbea town is now. They will alongside their vessels, they cannot go inward again. And some of our elder ones will go with canoe, and when they are coming back from the ship or the boat, the vessel, they will come back with ice block. And initially we were thinking, this ice block was just very magical to us. Yes. So I saw all of that. I never knew they were drilling oil. But once in a while, they cross over to the Abobri side. I started seeing the white people as early as that. When people like Press Lawson come and then you have those nightlife activities, they do the 9 times, and all of that. So I started appreciating agriculture. Where I saw, these exotic pigs, rabbits, and even the exotic agri fowl. That was my early, experience on those things, and then other plants. So I started swimming there. My father taught me how to swim from an early age here at Abobri. In fact, I was about 6 years or 7 when the Civil War started, and we all scattered. Unfortunately, that civil war led to the separation of my father and my mother. Yes, I have siblings. Incidentally, even though some Christians, some biblical students, refer to 6 as a funny number. I am a man of 6. I was born on the 6th day of the 6th month of the year and on the 60th year of the century. My siblings and me we are 6. My name, Alagoa, is 6 letters. Morris is 6 letters. I have 6 children. Yes, and I can go on and on. Recently, there was a book project about IYC and the environment and all of that. They gave me a chapter to write, which I've also submitted on the 14th, which was the deadline. They gave me chapter 6 to write. And I'll go on and on and on. So I have siblings. We are 6. Same father, same mother. Yes, I have 2 elder sisters, an elder brother. Then I came. Even though my mom said she lost the child before these ones. Then after me, a girl followed. The one that followed her died immediately. We relocated from Abobri to Ondebare during that war time. Then the last one is also a boy. And they are all doing well. My younger ones are in Abuja. One is a proprietor of a private school, Tare, Morris. She has a master's. Her younger one, Inemo Adaka, he also a master's degree holder. Is an engineer and is the director at the Federal Atomic Energy Agency. My elder brother has retired from the state civil service here. He served as Minister of Works and Infrastructure for years and he's retired. He's here in Alagoa. My elder sister Maria Saibi is retired. I think by now she's in the UK with her children. Then the most eldest, Grace Adaka, she's also doing well. Very respected in the extended family. Yes, so that's us, and we are relating very well. Well, we have a half brother from the Abrakasa family, maybe, and incidentally, he grew up also with my mother. Even when the mother was there, sometimes we go say, "No, now your mother be that to go meet your mother." So he grew up with us. Even when my mom died, before she died and she gave his little will kind of a thing, she added his name. And at the end of the day, we shared everything equal, no discrimination. Yeah. So we are relating very well. Oh my daughter, you could be yeah, when you talk about family tradition or uh, those things that influence, my mother doesn't have friends while she lived on earth. If I may remember maybe one or two, she's not the friend side. The same thing with my father. My father was such a man that if he doesn't, any day he doesn't go to work, the workplace will come to the house and find out why. Sadaka, we didn't see him at the workplace today because he was so dedicated. In the morning, as he's taking his tea, Lipton, these days, as he's taking his tea, he's listening to 7 o'clock news. The next thing, by then, maybe he has already geared up with singlets. It's just remaining to put on the shirt. The next thing is up. You will never see my father back home until it's close of work. That one, be rest assured. Whatever misbehavior you want to do in the house, between it, you are covered 100%. But once it is 5 o'clock, expecting that he will come back home. And this time of a thing that I have imbibed, I started, that emotional feeling with time, right from childhood. We go to church from the Abobri, the agri quarters, they take us with speedboat to the main Abobri, and then we go to church. And then when the church has closed, if every person has gone to the speedboat, they say, "Come, we want to move." The speed that I will use in running down to the waterside, sometimes like I will be crying as if they actually have already left. So time, I am very, very concerned about time right from childhood. If I am late for an event, I better don't go. Yes, up till today, if I'm late for an event, I would decide not to go. There was a day they have a program here in the government house, I think at the Golden Tulip. It was a very important one. I came all the way from Wari from another program. By the time I came into Yanagua, yeah, it was just a few minutes late. But I have to get home, change before going. I said, no, I won't go again. But that was the Breeze Commission, where people like Barrister Nero Wills and other environmentalists were, you know, supposed to be. I was invited. I decided that it's late. I can't walk into that program as a latecomer. So I'm very time conscious. These things rubbed off on me. Also, sometimes you less busy. You take siesta in the afternoon. My father and mother they taught us that go and sleep. It saves the children from maybe falling into some problem within the environment. Go and sleep so that when you wake up, you feel a little bit refreshed before you go about reading your books. And as of the time I wrote my first school living certificate examination, I don't think I was too sure of myself. And I didn't even know whether I passed or I didn't pass. But you know, parents, when you are just through, in order not to keep you at home, admission, go to my community and then start your secondary school. That was how I went to Brass and started in 1976. People like Jimmy Silva, we started the same class, right? Honorable Mary Ebikake, who is in the House of Reps now. She was also a lecturer, a tutor there then. Senator Barry Amande was also there. I can name some of them that were there. Getting to the secondary school, we started as usual, prepping. You need to learn how to read by yourself. Initially, it was not easy, whether you want to read out loud or you want to be silent in reading and all of that. And eventually, we caught up. I wasn't doing badly until they said the GSS brass will be now for only girls. That was when we just passed to class 3. So the boys scattered. Some went to Akasa, some went to schools in Port Harcourt, and I ended up in Oloibi because my father was again then transferred to Abobri. So before then, I had an issue. I had this passion for human rights and self-defense and all of that. And you know, this boxing, they always struck me that time. So on the 3rd of September 1978, I was 18 years. I don't forget that day. I spent most of my time in Job, even though I started in town, in Bonny Street. But as of then, I was in my father's place at Bonny Street, 54 Bonny Street. Some of my friends from Job came, and they said they have come for war with some boys, a group in town. One of the group guys was friending a girl from the Sokariari family, or BWW White. And the girl has, breaking the relationship. So the guy said, anywhere he sees her, he's going to kill her. So the brothers and some of my friends have come to follow up that issue. I said, yeah, it's a better matter now to follow. So it was a Sunday. We tried to trace them. By then, clubs in Port Harcourt, we had one at the 18th Creek Road, one at White House along Hospital Road. We went to all those places, we didn't see them. We went to Captain Amangala by Port Johnson or so. We were still there when maybe they've gotten the information. They came in 2 cars. So wait them, wait them. When we looked at them, they were all almost my grade. But most of the guys that came from Duke, apart from 3 or 4 that were my mates, the rest are small boys. The thing don't start to bottle. People ran into different their houses, closed their passage doors and all of that. Now, what I saw was somebody was rushing towards me. I was holding a chain too. He was coming with a broken bottle in his hand, this Fanta or so. As he came directly to me, his throat. As he striked, I waved to this side, and I also used my chain on him. I never knew he actually got me here. And when I folded my fist, this one couldn't hold again. That's caught me now. That was how I lost my left hand. You see me anywhere, this left hand. And when I went to the hospital, they say it is a radial nerve that has been caught. That nerve that will enable you to, jack it up is caught. So this my hand, I lost it on that 3rd of September 1978. So it was a very tough one for me. I spent quite some time before I went back to join my father at school at Oloifi, because at the time my father was even saying, when I was trying to pursue operation to restore this, he said my hand was good, that I was playing some pranks, I don't want to go to school. If I don't come to continue my this thing, he would just forget about me. And I was going to the hospital alone with some of my friends that went for the war. No parents, no elder, no person. Doctors will just look at you and they will tell you tomorrow we'll do the operation. And when you go, you are still alone, nobody is with you. So that was how I went to Louis. And by the grace of God, 1981, I finished the same time with my set that started with me at class. Yeah, after that, no job. Started looking for a job up and down, doing some mineral jobs, storekeeping and all of that. Until I heard of intensive training certificate courses at the River State Institute of Agricultural Research and Training, a part of UST at Onen. My mom was ready to make sure her son gets something doing. So she sponsored me. I went with two of my siblings, two of my last brothers. We went with other people, did oral interview, written interview. Unfortunately for my siblings, I was the only one that was successful. I went through that one, a 3 weeks or 4 weeks intensive course on fertilizer application. I never knew fertilizer was even used in fish ponds, but it was that course that taught me. Immediately after that, they say piggery was coming again. My mom said, go. Another one, they say 6 weeks poultry. They say poultry, they say sickness too much. Oh. Mom said, go. And I went. And I made very good grades. Distinction, distinction, distinction. Then my wife wasn't too good. 3 credits, 3 pass. I enrolled to write GC to complete it. It was there I managed to write it, got the required thing to go to university. And eventually I went back to the university, UST. And as old man, I trained myself despite the strikes. This Babangida I also went through Uniport, did the first diploma course in personnel management and industrial relations before I went to UST to read adult and community education, which is now adult and community development. Why did I choose this course? Because I was scared of, from this beginning, I was scared of mathematics. Sometimes when I am reading my exams in the Oloibri, when it is maths, I just say I am not doing, I don't pass. The other courses, I don't pass. So when I begin to look at the university course, all of them maths. I go manage now. So when I looked at this one, I looked at it intently. The maths was not prominent. I said, okay, I can survive here. That's why I wanted to choose that one and went through it. But we still went and met statistics. And by the grace of God, I never had any carryover till I finished my BSc program. To become a man is not the way. Actually, like I said, the first job I did was as a storekeeper at St. Edumo Nigeria Limited. It was an hotel. Incidentally, it was owned by my mother's younger brother, who later left Shell and was chief chemist before he died. When I left there, the next job was this poultry things I just mentioned. After I've gone through, although I worked briefly with a construction company that laid water pipeline along Aba Road, these big PVC pipelines, and I was a crane mate, who are the people who were directing the crane, hooking the big pipe at this end, then the crane will send it down to the plumbers to work, uh, sending it towards the Rumola pumping station. So after that, I went to this Alagoa poultry and animal farm in Riebe. I worked there as a poultry attendant. Then I went because I had the certificate and expertise, and Alhaji engaged me to go and take care of his farm at Bida, Niger State, as the farm manager. Incidentally, that project failed because there was no more money to take care of the birds to laying stage. It just ended at the pullet stage. We sold them off, and I came back. Eventually, I saw adverts from Pabot Food Company, owned by Rivers State government. I was then also a Rivers indigene, of course. So I applied, went through the interview. And one thing about proficiency in what you are doing and when you go for interview, sometimes it's like you take over the interview from the people who are interviewing you. Because I actually went further to explain certain things from their questions that the two asked me. So they employed me, and they knew that maybe I wouldn't have problem with my supervisor. I never did anything eye service. If I'm conversing with my colleagues and backing the officer and they say, manager, they come as they are scared. I say, waiting happen if manager go. Just be calm. Because dead in the night when every person is sleeping, when I'm going to take care of those chicks, I don't consider manager. I did my work diligently. I don't steal your fowl, I don't steal your egg. Why some people are doing all those things? I knew within deep in myself that I am giving in my best. So why should I be scared the manager they come? If you're a manager, is a supervisor, if you won't come, you must obey the rule that you have to dip your leg, your, your shoe with you at the deep litter before you enter into the pen. Because you have to disinfect your feet. I did all that. Oh, manager will come. You lock the door. I say yes, I lock it. You want to enter? Yes. I open and I wash you, dip your feet here. So we served, and then when people want to give example, and now we been they work with Alagoa at that time for that company. We became reference points. So after Pabot Food Company, luckily during this nationwide protests in Babangida's administration. In fact, it was there at Pabot Food Company became I joined unionism. I became the first secretary of the Pabot Food Workers Union of the Amalgamated Union of Public Operations, Civil Service, Technical, and all of that. And we went on industrial action too. Yes, it was then I also recognized the place of the media. Without the media, management won't even mind whether you are doing anything. But I made sure we move down to Radio Rivers, get people like Humphrey and Tebo, go to Nigerian Tide, inform them that this is the situation. Sometimes, in fact, I heard of the word rhetorics for the first time from Humphrey and Tebo. Because he was with us when management called us for settlement and they were expressing ourselves. He whispered to me, said, these are rhetorics. For my mind, I said, it be rhetorics. So, after that, I got employed with the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, following nationwide protests by youths. So Babangida ordered the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to employ about 500 or so in all the states. That was where, through my own younger sister again, Tare Morris, he knew somebody in the Federal Housing Authority who linked to another Yoruba man, and they pushed me here and there. I got this employment and served there as technical assistant for about 18, 17 years before Obasanjo in 2006 came up with his downsizing and right sizing of the federal civil service, which affected me too. But the good thing of that policy is that we were rightfully and properly retired. So I'm receiving pension. I received my gratuity. Some persons were not even up to 40 years when they were retired. I still know some of them, my former colleagues. So I retired then. Then in 2007, precisely July, I got employed by the Environmental Rights Action, Friends of the Earth Nigeria, by Oronto, who first called me and spoke to me, say, go and do the job. We want people that are amply motivated. I don't forget that language that he used. We need people that are amply motivated. First question he asked me, Maurice, you know that I've been reading you from a distance. Now, how have you been reading me? I started writing. I developed this. I liked writing from beginning. My initial steps were very poor. I was doing this copying and this and that. But when I was at USC, a lecturer was one Dr. American was teaching one day, and he said, "This course you are doing, you can work in several places, even as a journalist and all of that." I said, "Don't come bring up this spirit in me again." And my first article was on Oronto Douglas when he took up appointment with the Alamesia administration, and the Supreme Executive Assembly made a statement in the National Investigator, a local tabloid, saying how an Ijaw general took up appointment because of hunger. I was touched. By then, I never even get this employment with ERA. I was still with the federal ministry. I said, what? Hunger made Oronto to take this job? If Oronto's position was so important and his living has created a vacuum, let others take over the place. He has to grow. He has choice to make. Now, that article sweet me. It was my very first published article. I cited people like Ole Soyinka who took up appointment as he started the road safety in Babangida's administration, the first road safety marshal. Ken Sariwa was also in MAMSA, yes. Taisolomi also for the People's Bank. And these were known social critics. So why Oronto Douglas? But my advice for Oronto Douglas was, if your good ideas to the government is not accepted, they don't want to use them, resign. I cited Timipro Silva, who resigned as political advisor to Alami Esia. I cited Dr. Fibresma, who also resigned in Philip Adele's administration in Old Rivers or in Rivers. So that was how I started writing. I write about developmental issues, the oil industry, and a lot of things. So I also enjoyed one day in class. Dr. Jumbo gave us assignment, and on that one Saturday, he also had us in class. He gave us assignments, so we were writing. He said, "Who is Alagoa Maurice?" And I used to sit down in front once it is like exam. Normal class, I sit at the back. The exam, I sit in front because I don't want any person to implicate me. Show me this or show me that. A lecturer come and punish all of us. No. So I was in the front row when, who is Maurice? I looked. I said, it didn't happen again. As I was raising my hand, somebody pointed me. He said, "Hey, what were you before you came to US?" As he was asking, he was coming out from. I said, I'm a federal civil servant. I was saying that somebody don't say he's a writer. He's a writer. And I said, true. It must be. That assignment I gave you, you've made A in my course. You made A. So it was a master's level, your response. See me at old ages when I'm coming to enjoy this type of pleasant complimentary remark from a teacher. I never had it before, even though in secondary school, maybe those youth corpers who normally come and teach us would appreciate you in one or two courses. So it was a pleasant surprise and embarrassing too. And you know what? When the results actually came and they were compiling, my friend called me, say, "Come, that's your course, Jumbo course. No score, I don't find, I don't see a name." I went to him, I said, "Sir, see problem." He said, "Come, let's go." He moved with me to the very particular department. He said, look for it, this one has A. He has A. That was how the problem was solved. You see, so I wrote quite a lot of articles, and it was quite a lot of Herculean tasks, sacrifice. Sometimes I used the last penny that I was supposed to use with my family to survive to do the after writing. I will pay transport to business center to go and type. I will pay transport to education area to distribute this thing to the media houses for publication. I will also monitor them in the newsstands and buy. So through that way, I have a lot of them binded. I have them till today. So before I got to Oronto Douglas for this era employment, my younger brother who was leaving the office that I was to occupy said, alas, find some of your article bring down for me. Let I go give go. I knew where it was going. So that was how I took the binded copy to Oronto. So when Oronto said, you know that I've been reading you from a distance, I wasn't surprised because I did quite a lot in writing them. Sometimes the ideas will come and then you begin to shout, say, don't do it because you'll be gathering ideas for you to put married pen together. It wasn't easy in those years. But now, because of this internet of a thing, since I got into Facebook and all of WhatsApp, it's difficult for me to do paper and this together. Sometimes, if I have idea, as I hold my pen, so my phone, no matter the paragraphs, I don't think I'll go and do some strategizing before no. It's instantaneous. As I am, the idea comes, I will just do it and I post on Facebook. So it is that writing culture tradition that has rubbed up on me. Yeah, so that is it as per my place of work until era. I served about 18 years between 2017 July till April this year, 2024, 30th April, I resigned in protest. Uh, Even though they wanted us to stay, we resigned. About 11 of us, because our executive director was also asked to go. When we know that the thing they are asking me to go for, he was he was not supposed to be guilty of it. He sacked somebody, a stubborn staff. In our midst where we are doing meeting, he sacked somebody. And you rather brought that person to change him as sole administrator and ask him to go. Who will now obey that person that you have? That stubborn person will say no. So we all en masse resigned with him. So right now we have also floated, instead of us to go our separate ways, we say let us come together and form another organization and carry on with the job that we have been doing. So we have floated the Environmental Defenders Network. We just like the name because acronym is Eden. Yeah, like as if we are going back to the Garden of Eden. Yeah, so I'm the Deputy Executive Director of Eden. To become a man is not the way. Yeah, first of all, I have to thank God for everything, even though I'm not the religious type, because it has been one of the, one of the God providing, the organization providing the wherewithal for me to work, and I was amply motivated. I started off with fear. Whether I would be able to meet up the person who was leaving that place, whether my leg would be able to match the shoes that he was leaving behind. But somehow I was happy when I meet Toronto. Sometimes certain places will say they are doing a great job. Those comments coming from my bosses, when people like me, Mobasti, asking, can I share my report with the media? He said, oh yeah, go ahead. So I started sharing my field reports with the media, and so things started going around. And before you know, whether from abroad, within the country, I begin to receive calls, and from communities, I begin to get calls for environmental issues. But I started off benefiting from the media, hearing news on radio, on TV, oil spill don't happen here, oil spill don't happen there, then I'll follow up, try to ask Whether I know somebody from that village, I ask my friends. Once we get the contact, whether CDC or any person, we pass through the person. Sometimes the person might even lead us to the community, meet with the community structures and then we start. But one good thing is that with all the hours of trekking in the bush, crossing rivers with journalists who don't even know how to swim, and sometimes in very bad shaped canoes, I didn't meet any live snake for all these years. Sometimes you pass under certain bush, tree shrubs that is so thick. When your guide, the community guide has bent under and passed, you also have to pass. Sometimes you think, I will pass under this place where that snake do, but you also manage to pass. You see, sometimes this Taylor Creek, I've crossed Taylor Creek with people like Tifo Wolabi and Lati. There was one Lati who was in charge of Punch once, Yoruba guy. Some of them will cross, and sometimes the canoes are so small without even seats. You just squat, and you are crossing a very deep place, even a shallow place. Not too long ago, one soldier died when they were crossing to go and inspect a steep site and come back with regulators. How much more you are crossing deep places? And if anything happens, they will say, Alagoa, don't you know that you're supposed to provide a life jacket? Then, but all of this, I need to give God the glory. We've been going into the Atlantic Ocean. I remember when Tifo Wolabi, as we are going, he said, comrade, haven't we taken enough? Comrade, I've taken enough. My colleague also supported him. I was also scared, but as a leader, I controlled myself. I said, okay, let's go back. That was in connection with the January 16th Chevron gas explosion off Kulama fish farm. You see, so we've taken those risks. I monitor the Bonga steel in Odiama axis, went with fisher folks in their wooden canoe, and sometimes the canoe will wave like this. I want to do like this. They say, no, don't argue with it. It will go until it will come and balance. Sometimes it will go this way, come and balance. We went deep into the ocean and came back. It's God's mercy. I can't thank Him enough. If I'm going to do any thanksgiving, it is on all of this. You see, so these were some of the major challenge, of course, is the security issue. I was feeling even safer during the militancy, time of the militancy, than even now, because the militants somehow they were disciplined. But when you meet pirates, sea pirates, they are there to rob. If they don't take your engine and push you in the water, if they don't kidnap you, then whatever you have, phones and everything, they will just take them. You see, so I feel more unsafe now in some parts of the state, in the creeks, than during the militancy. Because the militants, when they see you, one maybe they ask you one or two questions, and they just leave you there. They don't have your problem. Their problem is with the oil companies and the military. You see, so the security situation in the creeks became so problematic that for about 4 or 5 years, I said I won't go with any white man to the creek again. Just when I noticed that criminality has come back to the creeks. But while the 2012, the Chevron gas explosion, we were going with white people to Kulama. We are going freely. But after that time, and they started stopping this profile. It was when they stopped this local refinery that this criminality became more. You see, so I say I won't go with white people because if anything happens, the security agencies will put it to me that I planned their kidnap, and I don't want that. I think I started gaining confidence when I begin to hear positive, complimentary remarks of what God has been able to use me to do the platform I was working with and which I am also working presently. Even just yesterday, I read on Facebook somebody was saying, you are an inspiration to a lot focus and that you have, inspired the next generation environmental activists. That I don't take it lightly. I don't take it for granted. And because of the confidence of the people, the way they have seen me, it has also placed on me a burden to maintain the standard or even to do more. That was why when Ajib offered me contracts for cleanup, I rejected it. Say, Morris, go and bring any company name. We'll give you cleanup contract. I said, me? Me that is monitoring you. No way. I didn't. Because I was thinking, not just because they will blackmail me, but what will people think when they hear that I'm also an Ajib contractor? I took that risk not because I had. Sometimes 2, 3 days there is no money, even the 1,000 naira is not there. And maybe people like my good friend and brother, Mendy James, might bail me out. I say, I beg you, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. He doesn't ask me question if he has. Say, are you sending your colleague or should I transfer? He's the only person in the entire Bayelsa state that can do that to me, that can bridge the gap. So sometimes we start with my family. While there are opportunities one have been rejected, you see, even to take a government appointment, they are talking how much you want to be a contractor to a company. You see, so these are some of the things that I see as very cardinal. And again, you have seen all they are giving me all these awards. Look at that one was from Niger Delta students. Niger Delta students. I don't know them. Their leader just shouted me one day and then say, "You want to see me?" I say, "See me, okay." I gave him my colleague's number, say, communicate with him. And the day they came to, I never knew they came with award. They hid it under the table. I came out, addressed them, they responded, and as we are talking, before you know, they looked at each other and then brought out something. Now, this award, I never knew them from Adam. So when people from a distance look at these people that just gave me this award yesterday, they say they are just on their own thinking how to go about it. Say Morris, you should recognize him. I don't know them before, apart from their chairman that later I knew that he is also a member of that association. He himself said he wasn't even part of it, those that nominated. So these are uh, things that have told me somehow that people are appreciating what I'm doing, even though I will not be able to tell you that this is what I have done. But when people are saying things positive about you, as they say, dancer does not see his back, but the watchers, people who are the onlookers. So I think people have said it all in their words that they have been given. Success is not measured in terms of material wealth. Money is good. Money is good if you do your thing diligently, legitimately, and money comes is good. So we pray, amen. Yes, I believe in the age-long respected traditional inheritance which we inherited from our forebears of respect for constituted authority. Even though I'm a stubborn person, I survived better in a law-abiding environment. I like to obey laws. And if I find myself in a lawless environment, I feel myself being a victim. Yes. And that is one. Also, not bearing false witness. These are some things that we hold very dear. Uh, Covetousness, not taking what belongs to others. Contentment. Contentment, I learned it from my father as he was. I never noticed or observed anything like jealousy, envy. No. Luckily, in his later years, even when I went to Port Harcourt to join him in 1970, from then he had become a cherubim and seraphim person, even till he died. But initially, when we were at Abobri all those years, he was maybe younger, so he was rough. Sometimes he would deal with his two wives in a very rough way. He was drinking and all of that. But from when I met him back from 70s, he had given himself back to God, and he served God until he died. Yeah. So those values have rubbed up on us. I don't believe that because I'm quarreling with a neighbor, my child will just jump in and then throw insult at that elder. No, we shouldn't do that. All these are, and then you don't encourage your children to negative paths. So we pray, amen. That I would like to leave to posterity, but then it would be nice to remember Alagoa Morris as a simple one who was down to earth and loved his roots, loved his people and environment. Likewise, I told someone, a doctor here who came yesterday, Dr. Stanley, even if you provide all the good things for me in Germany, America, anywhere to go and live free till I die, whatever I want to provide, I won't go. I have now decided that my journey in life may be from Benin to Uyo, even to go to Abuja and Lagos now too. I feel it's a burden. So whether it is COP 90, COP 20, I say I don't want to go. I love my roots. I love my people, and that's why the advocacy we are doing for community development, I am so passionate about it. We can do this place as beautiful as those places are in America, Kenya. When you talk about social issues, it also involves this crime of the thing I'm telling you. I remember when Operation Famotangbe was masquerading. One of the reasons why as the CLO state secretary then why we fought against Operation Famotangbe, we wanted people to go about their lives freely. Nightlife lovers, even though I'm not a nightlife person, let people breathe. Let them enjoy their connecting, being connected to one another. Those who are selling, those who are, like social life, they should go about it. And when there is conflict, definitely it will affect all of us. Crisis here and there, whether it is intercommunal, whether it is intracommunal, all these have a lot of impact on the social well-being of society. Just like some sociologists would term society, describe it as an organism. If one part of the organism is diseased, it affects the whole body. If this my little finger has weak lobe, you think I will be comfortable talking to you like that? No. So I believe that the health of society should be taken holistically. And that is how development should be taken holistically. As a development student, I don't see development just as things of skyscrapers and flyovers. It has to take the social aspect of man, because man is the center of development. So we pray, amen. Best piece of advice is difficult to say, but I remember I cannot trace that man right from beginning. But there was a day I was going to the Boro pit to swim in brass when I was in the secondary school. And suddenly, an old man appeared. I don't know him anywhere after that time. So he looked at me and said, so young boy. Said, don't put your hand in that thing. Don't follow women. Be a good boy and your life will be good. Once in a while, my mind keeps going back. Who was that man? Who was that man? I don't know. It might be from that locality that I have seen him before and I've not seen him again till today. So that to me was noble. Tell me not to put my hands on bad things, but to ensure that I walk on the right cash. And so it I've been guided by that. And when people see us, sometimes they say, "This man bold." You see, I think they talk for radio, they talk for TV. It is not boldness without fear. Because Nelson Mandela said, "There is no human being without fear." What is emboldening us to make those type of appearance before the public, which we may not even know that we are doing, is because we feel we're on the right path. We feel we are, just amplifying the cries of our people from the localities. We feel the ground that we are marching as we are moving is also on our path. It's not because we have one big man behind us that will protect us if you arrest us and throw us into jail or whatever. But that truth that we are standing on is not the foundation that is making us to sound the way we sound. It's not on initially, I would say I take every community as mine by virtue of the work I do. But sometimes you have to be particular. So in this particular case, my mother's place, maternal mother's place is Brass. There, we have big boys. If you go to that place, it's like a metropolitan. Sometimes nobody knows even if you're around. But if I go to Onjawari today, even before I move from the waterside to the house, the Noao, Boemi, all those. And by the time I get home, not only me will enter the house, the parlor will be free. And I may not even have chance to even sleep or to eat. Sometimes my wife says food don't ready, but I'm with people to talk about community issues. So not much has been done, but I know I've been able to influence certain things. They look up to me too as one of the uh, figures in the community that they can get back to in case of help. There was a time the community was repeatedly invaded by the military because of all this oil theft, local refinery, and all of that. That some persons they were looking for passed through the community and all of that. It became too much, and I had to call the community leadership. They came to Yanagua in my office. They had to organize a press conference. And even though the military later reacted that they never did that, that was the end of that invasion. It stopped. Again, I remember one or two projects like 6 classroom blocks and other projects were influenced by me. Community have them. Even the last time I went home, some things we don't need to even mention, but I will mention. I say I want to appreciate the community vigilante because the community used to be very rough. But with this current administration of the CDC, you have a vigilante and some kind of sanity has come in. So I said before I leave, I want to see the vigilante team. They came, I thanked them and gave them a little thing for drink. I never knew that they came prepared. They also used the opportunity to ask something from me. They said if I can help, I should help them with 5 walkie-talkie and then a uniform for them. I said the uniform might be a problem because except you say, oh, buy the cloth, you get a tailor. Otherwise, to get your sizes and show is a problem. But consider it done. As I came back, we came back on Sunday. The next Monday, we got the 5 walkie-talkie and sent to them. And they show appreciation. It's only the uniform that has not been done because of that challenge that I was saying. And they've not even given a solution to say, okay, buy, we will come, or give me estimate. You see, so they've not done their own homework. So that uniform side is still pending. However, one of the persons from the community that is staying outside that the community always look up to for anything, assistance, either to get to the authorities or anything like physical development or even conflict resolution. Yeah, so that is to my tiny community. But I consider myself a Bayelsa and belonging to almost every community in the work I do. So we pray. Amen. Yeah. You know, when we ran from Abubri during the war and we get to Ondewa, incidentally I remained there. First of all, we got there 1 or 2 days. My younger brother died, and my mother wept uncontrollably. She wanted to go and commit suicide. They carry her to her father's place, which is Olubode. So they obliged. My fathers were obliged. They carried all of us to Olubode. Eventually, one of our uncles came to Olubode once, and myself and 1 or 2 of my siblings, they will go back with him. You know, when you show some kind of love and appreciation to children, they tend to cling to you. So that attracted us to that our uncle. As we came with him to Ondewa, the next thing, shooting don't start. And so run takes start. So we miss ourselves with our mother before you know she has find her way to Lagos. And I remained in Ondewa. And I did almost everything that Ondewa person did. I accompanied them to build fish pond. I went to farming with my aunt that I was living with. I, it is a spread net on the river and catch fish. I use basket to fish at the waterside in the evening to get some crayfish. I also dive water snail. I dive water snail from the age of 8, 9 years, before 10 years. You see, then we go to the bush to set trap for birds. So I became part and parcel of that environment. That has actually endeared me, the environment to me, and then I know more of the people and they know me more. Like this Gokia I'm talking about, it's not the Alagoa that is now trying to overshadow. Even if I go home today, I refer to myself as Gokia. Every person knows me first and foremost as Gokia in the community. So that uh, bond that is still there in the like a pristine this thing. Modernity has not too much taken over the place. Is still something that I love so much. That does not mean that we don't like development. We are praying that this Southern Niger Road should finally hit there from Oporoma once it gets to Oporoma because we are within the same island. And other communities like Kulama, Azama, they are also praying. But when it gets to our community, many people will come there and take vehicle to Yanakwa. So we pray. Amen. It was very challenging to be unemployed. Very, very challenging. At the time, you begin to imagine whether there are some witches that have bewitched you. Sometimes you want to even look at your immediate circle. You see? So, that period was very challenging. But however, that period was also used. I use it so much in meditation. I use it so much for meditation. Most times I was alone, either reading novels, doing meditation, fasting even. Those periods I come to know that if you fast 3 days dry fasting, look, all your cells in your body will be shaking. I did it once and then as I break the fast, I said, let me go and take my bath before I come back to take banana and some other thing. I almost fell in the bedroom because my eye turned me, everywhere was vibrating within my body, all the cells. You see, so I did quite a lot of fasting within those periods. 3 days. I never exceeded 3 days, but it's always dry. You see, those were my most challenging periods when there was no job and you keep thinking, when will it happen? How will tomorrow be? I was not too ambitious, but even now, I'm not too big eye. And that's why I'm appreciating where I am today. I never imagined one day that I even want era. I was admiring them from a distance. So I take that period as my most challenging period. It will be nice for me to go back and say, starting afresh, don't put material benefit into anything that you believe and you are convinced about amply that you love doing.
So we pray. Amen.
Yeah, the youth should know that life has never been a part of roses. Because if things continue the way it is now and it gets bad, worse, it is they themselves that will suffer. So we should go back to a natural way of growth by the human being.
So we pray. Amen.
Yeah, there are regrets. Regrets in the sense that if we had followed our mother and father, who were very serious about our education, today I would have been a professor.
So we pray. Amen.
Going by your antecedents, your exploits, your achievements, and the things that you have done in the past, and the ones that are currently being done in the not just the Bayelsa state, the Izon nation. Alamiya Seya once told us that wherever there's an Ijo man across the country, is an Ijo land, Ijo nation, and even to the indigenous and non-indigenous within the Bayelsa shores and beyond the shores of this state, country, and the nation at large. We hereby recognize you as one of your common servants.
The Uncommon Seven stories are indeed captivating, enlightening, and entertaining. I'm sure you had a wonderful time with our guest. Thanks for watching. Do remember to like and follow us on our social media handles, The Uncommon Servants, on Facebook and YouTube. Who is our next Uncommon Servant? Join us again. I'm Janet Bobai Brennan.